Alright guys, welcome back to your fourth part of this little mini-series, how to develop an RPG. And in this tutorial, we're going to be adding our character to the scene. Because, what fun's a role-playing game if you don't have a character? Correct answer? It's not that fun at all. So, the first thing we need to do is we need to get the object layer. And this is the layer named OJ that all of our objects were stored on. And by all of it, I only mean our one object. But anyways, that's what we need to do. So, if you're saying, alright, I already know how to get layers just like this. Well, actually, getting a tiled layer and getting objects layer are two totally different things. So here is how you retrieve an object layer. CC TMX object group, and just go ahead and name your variable anything you want. I'm just going to name mine objects and set it equal to this. The first thing you need is what map do you want to use. This is in case you have several different maps in your project. I'm using the map because it's the only map we made so far. And now each map might have a lot of different object layers. So object group named, this is the method where you write what layer do you want to use. Well, we only have one object layer and it's named OJ, so let's go ahead and use that one. So now we have the object layer OJ stored in the object objects. Probably should name that something different, but oh well. Now what we need to do is remember, in this layer objects, we had one little gray dot stored in it, and we named that start point. So here is where we need to retrieve the start point object. Now check this out. Each of these objects, maybe I can bring this up. Each of these objects has a bunch of different information, whether you know it or not. If you go ahead and right click it and click object properties, you can see a couple properties: the name of it, the X position, the Y position. Well, all of this information is stored in a mutable dictionary. So what we need to do is retrieve this mutable dictionary. So ms muta, wow, I really messed that up, mutable dictionary, just like that, and go ahead and name your dictionary start point. Looks good. So now what we need to do is say, alright, what layer from the map do you want to use? Well, we want to use that objects layer, and from that layer we want to get the object named start point, because remember, that's what we named that gray dot, that object. So now pretty much start point represents that gray dot on your screen. Pretty cool, huh? So now, like I said, this dictionary has a couple properties. It has a name, it has X position, and it has a Y position. Well, let's go ahead and take that X position and Y position from our object and store it in local variables that we can use in our program. Very easy. Just go ahead, put int X, and set it equal to this. In order to get values from dictionaries, here's what you do. Start point, you write the name of the dictionary, and then you put value for key. I shouldn't even have to tell you this. You should already know how to get values from dictionaries if you watch my Objective-C tutorials. And now, whatever that returns, we just want the integer value of this. So the X is going to return, well, I'll tell you in a second. Alright, so now, here we go. X is going to return 2.5 and Y is going to return 45 and some change. So cancel out of that. And now that we have X, and copy, change this to Y, change this to Y. And now what we want to do is, let me recap one last time. What this line does is it gets the entire layer. What this line does is it gets that one object from the layer, the start point object. What these lines do is it say, alright, where's that object? I want to get the coordinates of it and store the X coordinate in X and the Y coordinate in Y. Simple enough. So now that we have the X and Y coordinates from that object or point, all we need to do is take our dude and add them to that point. Simple enough. We did this in the beginning Cocos2D tutorial. So self.dude, we actually need to say what file do we want him to represent, and go ahead and cc sprite and sprite with file, and this writes what image dude.ping. So I want this sprite to be represented by that dude.ping. And now what I need to do is position this dude somewhere on the screen. This is simple. Dude position equals ccp x y. Pretty simple, eh? And now what we need to do is, now that he's positioned on screen, of course, with everything with Cocos2D, you just need to add him to the scene. And self, which means this class, add child, and add the dude. So here's what we did. I already explained this, and yeah, I pretty much already explained everything. I don't feel like doing it again. Way too lazy to do that. So let's go ahead, save and run, and check this out. Hopefully nothing messes up. Now, how awesome is this? Our dude is positioned exactly where that object was on the screen. There he is, just chilling there, waiting to move around, waiting to collect some gems or battle some enemies, or he's just waiting to do something. Look at him. He's like, I want to do something. That's what he's saying. So, let's recap one last time what we did. In tiled, we created an object on the screen. This object has properties already built in it. What we did in our code is we say, alright, this line right here retrieves this entire object layer. This line right here retrieves that specific object, that gray dot on the screen. And also, with it, you get a bunch of information such as the x and the y coordinates of where that dot is located. And all we did then is took that x and y coordinates and positioned a sprite where that object was. Simple enough, so that's all we need to do for this tutorial. So that, my friends, is how you take objects from tiled and position sprites on your screen. And enough of me talking. I feel like going to eat macaroni and cheese or hot dogs or something. So yeah, you guys enjoy. And how about this? We meet up for the next tutorial. How you guys like that? And if you have any questions, just ask me on my forum, and I'll be happy to answer them for you guys. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to buy my iPhone apps because they're pretty sweet. So I'll see you later.